Hey, good evening. Once again, I'm Chris Gunn, and this is my channel, Chris Gunn's Bourbon Barrel Creations. So tonight, what I want to talk about is I want to talk about my favorite distillery and probably some of my most prized possessions in this room. Um, I am a big Wild Turkey fan. Um, you know, I got a friend Sean who will tell people some people go after BTAC collection. My BTAC collection is the Wild Turkey Masters Keeps. And as of 2 nights ago, when my wife gave me the Triumph, I got all 10 of them now. And I'll do a follow-on video on those because this is kind of going to be about a three-part video. The first part of this video, I'm going to show you what's sitting here. And this is probably my unique expressions of Wild Turkey. And then kind of in front of that, which I'll probably get in the next video, where my Wild Turkey Masters Keeps. And then on the other side of the room, I've got the rest of my Wild Turkey collection, and I got it on a fairly unique display stand. But anyway, what I want to talk about tonight is all this. But before I get started on all this, I want to point something else out to you. This picture right here. So my daughter Shelby, she is a phenomenal artist. She does her own Etsy channel and some other stuff, but she likes to take dolls. She'll buy dolls, and then she'll completely redo them and make them what she wants them to look like. And she's just amazing how she does it. But every year for Christmas, she does something for me that's pretty unique, and that's what I love about her. But this picture in particular, she did for me one Christmas, and of course, it's a Blanton's bottle. And then the matching picture to that picture in this room is a picture of my grandmother's house in South Georgia. And those two pictures, they mean a lot to me, and that's why they hang up here in my my man cave / bourbon room. But anyway, to get back here to what's over here. So this is kind of my unique Wild Turkey collection. Now, before we get started, what I'll point out is I've got 3 of these porcelain decanters. This is this is the first one. This is I talked about this in a previous video, but I got this down at 13th Colony. 13th Colony, someone in their family had collected these for years, and at one point there was probably 200 of these down there. And so this was probably the second porcelain decanter I got down there. The first one, the owner of 13th Colony gave me a cabin still, which is sitting over there, and you can see it in some of the previous videos. But this is the first one I actually picked out myself. And when I got it, the girl said that his head fell off and there's no cork in there. Well, I just took a cork and I glued it in there, and it went right on the bottle. So yeah, love me some Wild Turkey, especially the decanters. They're just kind of unique. They're kind of neat. So that's the first decanter. Now the second decanter I got sitting up here is this one. Now this one was given to me, this was gifted to me by a real good friend of mine, Sean Rosenthal. And he picked this up on a recent trip to Kentucky to go see Chris Stapleton in concert. And he, of course, sent me a picture from the Wild Turkey Distillery. And this was what I really picked up in the picture. I said, oh my, is that porcelain decanter for sale? And he was like, absolutely. And I said, okay, well, how much? He told me the price. And I asked him to pick it up for me, and then when he brought it to me, he just wouldn't let me pay him for it, which, Sean, shout out to you, buddy. Appreciate this, I really do. The cool thing about this, too, is it came in this really beautiful box. And, when you open up the box has, it's got some felt liner, and the porcelain decanter went on there. But the cool thing about the box, if you see on the back, it's got Jimmy and Eddie Russell on it. And, man, that is just so cool. So the box, it sets up there, and it's got a place of honor. Okay, so a couple other things up here. Well, I got one more decanter. So this decanter I also found down at 13th Colony. And when I found this decanter down there, it was sitting on its side like this. And the cork was broke off in it. And so I picked it up, and I shook it, and I went like, oh my, it's got something in it. So when you flip this around, it's got this on the back. Well, let me move my finger so you can see, but this is what's on the back of it. And it says Charleston Tea Party Festival, November 2nd through 2 to 9, 1974. So Um, yeah, the stuff that was in here, I got it home, and I had no hope that it was going to be worth anything. I figured for sure it'd be skunked because there was a Jim Beam decanter sitting there, and when we picked it up and shook it, it was full too. And when we pulled the cork, it was so sour you couldn't even smell it. It almost make you want to throw up. But this one in particular, the other cool thing about this was, even though the cork was broke off, I went back and found an original picture of it, and the cork had a whiskey barrel sitting on the side on it. Now, what I did was I actually built this in my garage. I built the little barrel, and I had a cork, and I glued the barrel to the cork so I could replicate as close as possible the original cork that was on this. But anyway, whiskey decanter had bourbon in it. This was the bourbon that was in the decanter. And if nobody had ever taken the bourbon, the original bourbon out of that decanter and put new bourbon in it, this bourbon had been in that decanter since 1974. I'm kind of inclined to believe it was, because as you can see, this color on this is Wild Turkey 101 8-year. And I know that because on the bottom of the decanter, that's what it says. And it's got the original price tag on it, which was $49.99. I poured this through a strainer to get the cork out of it, the cork sediment that was in the bottle once I tried to bust the cork out, because the cork it kind of fell in the bottle. And so I got this through a strainer. The next day I went and picked up some cheesecloth, and I ran it about 3 more times through cheesecloth. I've had this, and I've let a couple other people try it, and we've all come probably to the same conclusion that this is some pretty old Wild Turkey. It's got a dusty flavor to it, but it's like Wild Turkey 101 turned to 10. It's just that good. I've never been able to confirm or deny this, but I have been told that if you can get some of the older Wild Turkey, some of the older distillate from the distilleries up in Kentucky, you're getting true limestone water in it, versus now a lot of, some, if not all, of the distilleries run their water through an oscillation process inside the factory. But anyway, this is a special occasion drink. This is if I've got a really good, somebody comes over to my house and is a true Wild Turkey fan, they are more than welcome to try this. But this is this is one of those like once in a blue moon special occasion drinks. But anyway, that means a lot to me. Now, a couple other bottles I got up here. This is a Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit bottle, but this is called, in the kind of the Wild Turkey circles, you call this the fantail bottle, because it looks like the spread fantail on a Wild Turkey when they're strutting. A real good friend of mine, Jeremy Lipsky, he's an officer in the military. He's a captain now, I believe, or he might be. I know when he left Fort Moore, he was a lieutenant, but he more likely might be a captain now. Jeremy gifted me this bottle. He came over to the house one night and he gifted me this bottle. It meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to me. He gave me this bottle. Now, I actually had this bottle in my hand one time before in a store, and I didn't know what I had at the time because I didn't know nothing about it. And I just was like, well, it's Kentucky Spirit. I got Kentucky Spirit at the house, so I'll put it back. Big mistake. But anyway, that was rectified when Jeremy gave me that. Now, next thing. This is a Wild Turkey Diamond Edition, which celebrates Jimmy Russell, and it celebrates his 60 years in the working for Wild Turkey. I got this on a trip. One of the last trips I did in the military, I went up to Fort Leavenworth I got tasked to go up there and do something. And so when I went up there, I picked this up, and there's a store down in Louisville. It's right on the riverfront. The name escapes me right now, but if you ever want like a kind of a hard to find bottle, this is a great place to get it. As things go, this is just beautiful. I mean, it comes in a beautiful presentation box. You open it like that to get the bottle out. It's got a booklet in the back that kind of talks about Jimmy Russell. I mean, what can you say? Jimmy Russell's a legend. He worked for Wild Turkey for over 70 years now, and I know that because this was my latest addition to this collection. So I got this week. I called a friend of mine. Her and her husband are real good friends of mine, and I just asked her. I said, "How close do you live to the Wild Turkey gift shop?" She says, "A couple of miles." Why? And I asked her, I showed her a picture of this, and I said, I believe they got this into the gift shop right now. Could you please, please, please go get me one? And she was kind enough to go over there, and you know, I couldn't thank her enough for it. So Allison, if you ever get to see this, just know that this bottle means a lot to me, but it means even more to me knowing that you went out of your way to get it for me. And you know, just once again, man, 70 years. Can anybody say they worked for the same organization for 70 years? And I think anybody, you couldn't argue the point that if Jimmy Russell had not worked for Wild Turkey for 70 years, they wouldn't be as popular as they are now. Now, the next thing I got back here is, this is, I got a friend of mine, David, he called me one day and he says, hey man, I got a line on a pretty unique Wild Turkey bottle. I would buy it myself. Unfortunately, I just bought a whole case of Stagg Junior, and I don't have the money to get it. But it is Wild Turkey American Spirit 15 year. Do you want it? And I was like, and he quoted me the price, and I about fell out of my chair because I know what it was worth, and it was not even close to what it goes on the secondary market. So I was like, absolutely. Now, when he got it sent to me, he was a little apologetic because he said Jimmy Russell's signature looks like it's been rubbed off. And the reason it looked like Jimmy Russell's signature had been rubbed off was because it comes in this presentation box, you know, beautiful presentation box. But it had this like felt interior, and over time, I mean, there's no telling how, I don't even know how old this bottle is. The felt had started deteriorating and started rubbing the bottle, and it had started to rub Jimmy Russell's signature off. Okay, whatever. I'm not, you know, the signature's great, but what's in the bottle is even better. But regardless, either way, I plan the next trip I take with my brother to Kentucky, I plan to take that bottle up there. And I understand that Jimmy Russell sits in the gift shop on various days, and then he will, you know, if you buy something, he'll sign it. I'm going to take the bottle up there, and I'm going to ask him to sign it. And then if he wants to open it and have a pour of it, I will gladly open the bottle and have a pour with Jimmy Russell. But once again, those are one of those dreams that you hope comes to fruition. But if it never does, it never does. But anyway, so that's pretty cool. And then, you know, the last two things I've got up here is this is Wild Turkey 12 year, and this is actually, I'm sure a lot of people know this. This is a Japanese exclusive bottle. You can only get this in Japan. Now, they're starting to sell in the United States, but I think mostly on the secondary market. My wife got me this for Christmas a couple years ago. I was just blown away that, you know, once again, she finds the most unique stuff, gets me the coolest gifts for Christmas. And then this was one that she got me one year for Christmas. And if I'm not mistaken, the same year she got me that one, she got me this Wild Turkey 13 year Distiller's Reserve. And this is actually a Japanese exclusive. So you can only get these, once again, in Japan, or, you know, you could potentially get them on the secondary market. There's places in the United States that sells them. But pretty cool. Pretty cool. There's a couple of other unique Wild Turkeys I'd love to have, as you know, we all do, but that's what I got right now. The other cool thing is the barrel it's sitting on, which I'll get a video done on it later on. This was the second barrel I had ever converted, and this was actually the Wild Turkey barrel that my wife bought me and had it shipped to our house. I did this one in a cherry wood color, and I think it's just absolutely a beautiful barrel. But anyway, so that is kind of my unique expressions of Wild Turkey in my collection. Anyway, I appreciate you watching this video, and if you like them, please, you know, I've asked this before, like and subscribe, and then I'll try to continue to make content that everybody enjoys doing. But anyway, hope y'all have a great night, and hope you have a great pour with someone.